Jamahal Hill and Michael Bisping went back and forth on social media. We're going to start with Jamahal Hill. He said, calling me a sore loser and talking about as men on losing is the craziest thing to me ever. Bro, you've been crying and salty about Dan Henderson for 20 years and Vitor Belfort for 15 years. You would think spending half your career losing, you would know how to. To which Bisping said, did you watch what I said? Or did you read some bad headlines? If it's a headline, I'll accept your apology, smiley face. I said you were a bit of a sore loser because you're a true competitor, and then went on to explain if that energy is channeled correctly, it can truly be beneficial to a fighter's mindset. I was being nice, not talking badly about you. Didn't have you down as the easily offended type. All the best with your camp. I'm with Michael Bisping on this. Jamahal Hill does fly off at the handle. There is that infamous time where a fan of his was trying to show support and trying to back him up in an argument, and Jamal, just being in the state that he is mentally, viewed it as an attack. He viewed it as something to where he needed to be defensive over, and he came off looking like a bit of a fool, and he had to apologize, or not had to, right? He didn't have to. He elected upon it himself. Props to him to apologize. In my opinion, Jamahal Hill is out of line here, bringing up Dan Henderson and Vitor Belfort. Everybody knows that both of those guys at the time, and, you know, it is what it is. I think Dan Henderson's one of the more underrated people in this sport. I think he's one of the GOATs of this sport. But with that said, he was admitted to using testosterone replacement therapy. That's a fact. And Michael Bisping lost to a lot of those guys. He lost to people who were most likely using. And that's something that could take over and make you bitter. That's something that could make you into what Jamahal Hill might be becoming, right? After that Alex Pereira loss, he's very salty after that loss. And he's very much, harping on it and making wild, crazy excuses on it. And, he could maybe learn a thing or two from Michael Bisping here. He could maybe learn how to have a short memory, put it behind you, and go forward. Because, that Vitor Belfort head kick, right, where he lost his eye after that, that could have deterred the man from the cage, right? Easily. That could have made you say, nah, I ain't doing that again. I can't lose the other one. That wasn't even a question. It was, how am I going to get the middleweight championship of the world? You get me? Like, let's put some respect on Michael the Count Bisping. Woohoo! His name. You know what I'm saying? That's Michael Bisping. And Jamahal Hill's talking out of school here. I'm sorry. Also, the Dan Henderson knockout. I mean, UFC 100, the biggest event ever at the time. And you get knocked out in front of everybody. And it's not just a knockout where, like, you're covered up and the ref stops it and you're still standing. No, he got slept, bro. He looked like he was having an exorcism the way he was all contorted. You know what I'm saying? He got turned to stone by Dan Henderson. And he had to eat that. He had to eat that and keep pushing forward. He didn't let it wear him down. And he also had to eat the fact that, yeah, they were on TRT. You know what I'm saying? They were on substances that Michael Bisping wasn't on. And that could make you a very bitter, angry individual. So I think people should be looking at Michael Bisping as someone of an example of how to deal with really tough losses and keep pushing forward. You get me? That's my take on this one. Jamahal Hill's talking out of school a little bit. Don't get me wrong, Jamahal Hill's a former light heavyweight champion, and he deserves his respect too. I think he kind of gets a little bit too disrespected, but how could you not get a negative reaction from this? How do you expect a positive reaction if you're Jamahal Hill? If you're Jamahal Hill and you're saying stuff like this, how do you expect the crowd to react to you? You know what I'm saying? When he came out and immediately started downplaying Alex Pereira's win and blaming it on the ref and doing all the stuff that he was doing, how do you expect there to be no backlash? Of course there's going to be backlash. You get what I'm saying? And I like Jamahal Hill. I do. I've got some videos on here advocating for him, but at the same time, I got to give it up, man. Like, if you're going to come out and talk crazy, you got to you got to get called for it. So it is what it is. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, whether you agree, disagree. It does not matter. Just join the discussion, follow for more, and leave a like if you enjoyed the time spent. Thank you. You are all appreciated.